Good afternoon, good night, good morning, good evening, fans. Today we're not even going live because you know what?
Nobody
Y'all
cares.
saw that TikTok. We cannot even go live, really.
This is not a happy laugh. This is not a happy time.
All
Yeah,
right.
This is not a
You
yeah.
happy time.
you know that one song that goes, "I don't give a fuck about you."
It's you, yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I don't even have a theme song. I'm just like,
Okay, so let's go. So we're all
so
here together. Introduce this reels.
yeah.
Let's
So
get
we're all
going.
here together, as always, we do a post Grand Slam, Major Slam podcast. Since we
This
came
is
into
not
the
it.
since we
Oh,
came
stop!
into
It is.
being.
It
This
is.
is not
Anyway,
it.
and today we're all live and in living colors in our respective home. Janine, of course, is in her foreign land. And here we're going to introduce each other. It might be a little haphazard because, you know, y'all saw that US Open. You know.
Oh, okay. This
So,
is Karen.
I
This is
suppose,
Karen from Bridgefield,
Rich,
Australia.
and of course, we have Janita from foreign Ohio.
Hello.
And Andreen, who was live in Living Colors with us in New York City, is now back home in California. And
Hello.
from solely tennis travel, she did her traveling already and she's back home. And of course, the other guy, there's some guy, random guy who's there, otherwise known as Reels if you're interested in knowing my name. So, ladies, so we had three podcasts, I think, regarding to US
We
Open. We
had
had
a
a
we had a disaster.
Wait. Let's set it up. We had three podcasts, I think, relating to US Open, if I'm not mistaken. We did our pre-draw show. We did our week one report. Then we had an emergency summer podcast, in lieu of the ladies semifinals, which was washed out on Thursday night. And who knew 9/11 would come to mean something else other than a terrorist attack?
Oh
Yeah,
my God!
who knew?
It's an attack on poor James Blake.
you know. We had that situation real, and then the Friday, the actual 9/11 Friday. I mean, wow. And then, of course, the ensuing
The,
weekend,
the
it
attack of the
Billy,
Italians.
Billy, stop.
was
Tonight is
so
not the night.
so Karen is bubbling and bursting to let us know how
Karen
she
is
feels.
hot.
So she's hot. So I'm gonna let Karen take the floor.
You
Bridge
know,
P.
I am. Usually I start with the women, but I'm not even going to give. And let me tell you, people, I went to church on Sunday because I had to find my religion and find God. But you know, I'm still a bitter bitch, and I'm going to confess that I'm a bitter bitch because what Serena's loss just made everything that we've always talked about, how tennis is racist and prejudicial and nasty, and the underlying evilness that permeates this fucking sport, that has made me lose whatever love I had for this sport. Serena was trying to do something that was, for the first time in a long while, putting women's tennis on the map. I wanted her to achieve that calendar Grand Slam, not because it would have made her even greater than she is, because, as my friend Reels has said countless times, Serena didn't need to win the calendar year Grand Slam to be a legend. She was a legend in her own right. Just from winning one Grand Slam title, she was already a legend because of her circumstances. So she didn't need this. What needed this to happen was women's tennis. Women's tennis needed what Serena was attempting to do this year. From the time she won the French Open, the the attention that was focused on women's tennis was something that Stacey Alistair and no blonde-haired, blue-eyed, nobody could buy that kind of coverage. When she won at Wimbledon, I mean, everybody and their mother was looking to New York for this to happen. Women's tennis was on the map. Who gave a shit who Donna Vekic was fucking? Nobody cared. Nobody cared who had $1 million endorsements. Nobody cared. Maria Sharapova dropped out of the US Open because she got She was sick and tired of everywhere she looked. It was the Serena Williams Open. Injure my ass. No, she just didn't want another fucking beatdown. That's what it was. That was. And everybody tweeting about what? Forbes, at the night that two black girls took to Arthur Ashe Stadium, the numbers don't lie, people. 4.8. That's the Nielsen rating to see Venus and Serena's match. 615,000 people tuned in via ESPN3. That's what they knew about, because I don't have ESPN3, but I was able to watch it online. So we're talking about 615,000, multiply that by everybody in the Caribbean who tune in to watch on Live Score Hunter. Watching that match. Okay, that's what Serena Williams was doing for women's tennis. You want to know how bad it was after she lost on Friday? 1.4. That was the numbers that tuned in to watch a women's final. Down from how much? 2.4. Was it 2.4 or 4.2 from the 4.2 from the previous year's final? That is the power of somebody who knows how to pull audiences. She might not be making $28 million a year to stand up in front of a magazine cover and look pretty. That's not what she's going to be known for. She's going to be known for Serena Williams, legend, Grand Slam champion, Olympic champion. She is going to be known for so much more. And Chris Chase, the 1980s fucking called and they want their mohawk back.
No, I mean, no, you know, no, the thing about, no, well, wait, I need some context here, because, you know, the thing about this is I'm live, right? So when you're at a tournament, you're having a very different experience than people who are watching it online and kind of doused in media stuff. So, you know, I'm watching the tennis live, and I did not plan on going to the women's semis. I did not have tickets for it, but a friend said, yeah, let's go see this thing. She's like, I'm in town, and I always want to see Serena beat these girls down, so I want to go. So we got tickets. It got rained out, and she actually had her boss tell her, oh, you want to go on Friday? No worries. Take the day and go watch Serena win this match. So we went, and we were watching the match, and I mean, it was actually a really interesting match to watch live, because you know, everybody was sort of waiting for the Serena moment to happen within the match. Because I've seen a lot of interpretations of the match online, and it's so, you know, it's really fascinating. People really have to go and watch a tennis match live, because what people tell you is happening in the match and what is actually happening when you're there
are never really the same.
It's not at all. Like, I mean, I've seen many if we even go back to the Venus and Serena match, I've seen articles talking about all sorts of weird energies and moods and all kinds. None of those things are happening. So clearly these people are having a kind of fantasy reaction that's happening in their TV. Projecting all manner of
projection.
They're having a whole. Yeah, it has nothing to do with what's happening. So one thing I will say to all the folks who are listening is that be careful of paying attention to how someone is interpreting the match online for you, because being there live is a really different ball of wax. And so, you know, I think everyone wanted to see Serena accomplish history. I mean, listen, one of the things I said before, and I've been on this bandwagon about this slam didn't mean anything for women's tennis, because I knew women's tennis people don't give a shit. They don't think about their product very much. They don't understand the value of their product on some level. And it's almost like they will cut off their nose to spite their own face. They just do that all the time. But what was really interesting for me in sitting there is that it was an occasion tennis match. These were not old school tennis fans. They weren't going to come and see. They didn't even know who the hell Vinci was. They were there to see Serena, and they were there to see history. And
Actually,
what
they didn't even care about Pennetta and Halep beforehand.
they did, yeah, beforehand. They were there to see, I mean, and I guess that's always a tension in a sport, right? The tension between quote unquote real fans who are there and have a sense of history of what's happening, and people who are just there to capture a moment, to be present for something that they want to be able to tell their grandkids about, or to look back at fondly in the past and say this was covered in a magazine and I was there. I think, yeah, I'll just close it up.
Oh, are you talking to me?
No.
Yeah,
No, no.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. You were continuing. Now you were talking to someone in real life.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's what happens. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, I think
for
that
me,
that's the moment for
for me,
people.
I mean, for me, I was there live watching it, and I would say, in many ways, there are many points in which you mentioned, kind that I do agree with you. That I do think that and Andreen has too. I mean, I think that that the WTA doesn't really understand the value of their product, but at the end of the day, WTA isn't necessarily responsible for Serena winning and losing.
No,
For me,
no.
I actually saw that for me, for the first time in a very long time, I felt bad for Serena, not in winning and losing, whether she had won the match or losing, but just the sheer weight of expectation and burden that I think was closed upon her. That was because for first time in her lifetime, winning a match, winning a tournament meant something more than just winning the tournament for her.
Yes.
And I think that's what I think a lot of people didn't understand or chose to ignore. Because to me, Serena was happy winning a Grand Slam. If this were early in her career, I don't think the pressure would have been that much big because you saw how much she took on that challenge of doing the calendar Grand Slam in 2002 to 2003. I think only because she was injured in 2003 U.S. Open and Jussie Nena cheated in 2003 French Open. Serena was very much on path to being like dominating women's tennis back then. She was unstoppable back then. But for me, this was the first time I think this 22nd. It wasn't so much. I'm sure if she had to win the 22nd major at Wimbledon, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Because to me, this wasn't equal in Steffi Graf. That wasn't the project how people presented this information. Her winning the 22nd major wasn't equal in Steffi Graf. It was proving something bigger and larger than that. And to me, that came upon Serena more so than anything else. This wasn't like she needed to win a major. She was struggling as she was last year. This was something completely different because in the other losses that she's had last year, we saw that these women actually stepped up to the plate while Serena was struggling. In fact, Vinci didn't step up. Vinci did the same goddamn thing she was doing
I know, which I think is really
pretty much
interesting that
pretty much
people
all
are
the entire
interpreting.
match.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
she
well,
didn't do anything. Serena
she,
just didn't. Serena just completely sort of like I don't want to say she wasn't finishing her shots, like that automatic part in her brain, which when she goes into that muscle memory kind of thing, where it's just like how she took out Safarova, Muguruza, and those people, where it's just like relax, done, don't think about this. You know what you're supposed to do out here. You know your game is better than this person, etc., etc. That wasn't allowed. She couldn't do that because the weight of expectation, because she didn't even play that great or badly in the first set. It's just that she began to be much more
cautious.
less efficient and cautious throughout the rest of the process. And then when she got up to the 2-love lead, basically she just couldn't go to that place, so she needed to be 3-love. Because had it been 3-love, I think you and I spoke, and I said to you, Andrea, I said, Vinci, it's do or die now. If you don't, if you can't break Serena now to make it 2-1, 1-2, you would you will be in a lot of trouble. Serena will bagel you here because then she's been over this bump. But Vinci made it so close, and like I said, Serena just allowed. It wasn't she wasn't fighting Vinci. She wasn't fighting herself either. She was fighting like this whole big,
Narrative.
massive narrative that was all upon her. And afterwards, I had a friend of a friend. I was able to, see a lot more than, the average person would see. That, I know a lot of people said, like, oh, she brushed off the press. Like, honestly, and we know the media, right? These are the same people. And before let's give people some perspective here. These are the same people who pretend that Wayne or Desney drug story is not a big story. These are the same people who bashed and carry on about Nick Kyrgios and Stan and Dana Vekic, who outed Dana Vekic. These are the same people who then turn around and give you this whole Serena narrative. The same people who 3, 4, 5 years ago were saying she needs to be out of the sport, she can't be here, she's rude and whatever. These are the same people now turning around and trying to give you the same kind of spin. And they never have that come to Jesus moment. They never come to a point where they say, oh, I have seen the light. Here is why I've changed my mind. They just quietly pretend that they've always been on the bandwagon. So these are the same people who would do any to turn a trick for a dollar to sell a paper to get some clickbait. These are the same people trying to push some kind of crazy narrative to you. And to me, I think that Serena's response thus far is like she needs to go back and deal with her own issues. She don't have to answer to anybody else because she did what she needed to do. The obligation, and this is tennis. This is sports. You win some, you lose some.
Well, you know what I mean? I have to say, though, I mean, this is part of the reason why this is what happens when sport gets loaded down by other things, right? Because the reality is, I've seen a couple of write-ups about the match, and there's this assumption on some level that Vinci changed her strategy or the miracle of someone using their backhand slice. Come on, let's stop ourselves. Serena has beaten Vinci comfortably in the past, and I'm not saying that Vinci was not across from her and that this was not an interaction, but it's an interaction that Serena traditionally has no problem with. And really what happened is very similar in my mind to what happened in the Fognini-Nadal match.
Right.
It suddenly became very clear to Vinci at that 3-3 point, to be honest, in the third set, where she realized after Serena started her her traditional gesticulations and sort of exhorting herself to come on and all that, Vinci started laughing because in that moment, Vinci realized it's on you to win this.
Exactly. And
I'm here and I'm going to declare, and she declared herself to the crowd, I did this, I'm here, I'm doing this. And, and so in some ways, it was kind of like, I mean, it was a bit of a rude awakening because the reality was the WTA crafted this narrative that the U.S. Open was entirely about Serena.
Yeah, it's at 127.
And it was 100%, yeah, didn't matter. And on some level, that really played out in the Vinci match, where Vinci was like, you know what? You're here for history, but guess what? I'm probably going to be here for history too because I'm feeling the moment.
And I'm feeling a check.
I'm feeling like you're tense. And I'm feeling like all I have to do is keep this ball in play, and it's up to you to snatch this from me. And who knows? No, and I really think the moment, and I think this is one of the few times I think I do agree with Realz that Serena owning.
She's trying to come for me, folks. She's trying to come for me.
She did. She wasn't trying, she did.
No, this is one of the few times I agree with you. I know, right? Well, because I'm usually like, Realz, you're crazy. But this is one of the few times I actually agree with Realz when he says that, you know what? I think that Serena let everybody big up her head with the moment.
Right, because
I disagree.
It really was it.
I would tell you two things.
Serena has been doing her best to downplay this.
But you only do that when you can't.
You know better than that,
but
Karen.
You know what? It's very interesting. But let's go back to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal matches has always been traditionally the biggest hump in Serena's career. It's where she has failed and faltered most in majors than in the semifinals. This is probably like her third semifinal loss ever, basically, right?
Yeah,
third or fourth. But usually by this stage, you get this Serena. You get this Serena who is, the legend that she is. But I think in the moment in the quarterfinals, I think she basically sensed that, wait a minute, I really have to play. I don't think that she was lazy, but then it became a moment where just like, oh my God, this is I can probably lose this.
No, that's not what happened.
You know what? We are contributing to the same narrative that we are dismissing right here. Yes,
no, we're not. We're making her human, Karen. We're making her human.
For the whole of this season, Serena has been playing shitty tennis.
Yeah, of course she has been.
That's right.
Okay, she's been playing shitty tennis, and she's been trying to find a way to win matches. This time around, she just could not find that.
No, that's not what happened either. This is what happened. No, wait.
Say what happened. What do you think happened?
I think, yes, she has played shitty tennis, and that has been something that has been talked about continuously. We heard it over and over and over again during the Vinci match. How long can Serena continue to do this? How long can she continue to drop sets and come back and live on the edge and blah, blah, blah? And you know what? We've said this. We had a whole show about vultures and step up to the plate and take your moment. And Vinci did it. But she was able to do it because Serena felt the moment. All the pressure she talked about not feeling, what you saw right there was pressure. Because, yes, Vinci played good tennis, but she did not play tennis that would have beaten Serena Williams on any other day.
Any day.
Any other day. What we witnessed.
She had never beaten Serena before at all.
She had never even taken a set. She'd never even taken a set.
Okay,
when
Karen,
she won that second set, that was her first set she ever won ever. What you watched, exactly what you watched, is what pressure looks like. And you cannot expect someone, I don't care, of course she's not going to say, I'm under a tremendous amount of pressure. I don't know how I'm going to get through that. It's because that's not the mindset of a professional athlete. That's not, even if we know at some point those kind of thoughts cross their mind, because they are human, but they will never speak on it publicly.
Because I'm telling you,
ever.
In the crowd wanted this so badly for Serena.
So badly.
I mean,
so badly.
I wanted it so badly. I didn't believe when Vinci. I didn't believe when she had match point she was gonna win. I didn't believe it.
I thought she would have. She would have. No, not choke. You're looking for 2003.
I expected Serena to rise
who
up.
Came back from 5-1 down against Kim Clijsters at the Australian Open.
I want to make. No, wait a minute. I want to make something very clear. I absolutely did not expect Vinci to choke. If she would have choked, it would have been completely understandable. However, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, now it's time for Serena to pull herself out of her back pocket and play like we know she can play.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which she didn't. Because let's
and she did not.
Because let me tell you something. First of all, let's just all recognize that Vinci served out that match to love.
Yes, she did.
To love. Okay, so that means that Serena's return game, because Vinci it was shit.
And also, let's forget that Serena has a
Hold up.
You can watch it. I mean, when you were watching it live, you realize that Serena's arms were not functioning.
Right. Exactly.
Her arms and
she was like a stick in the mud.
Right.
Her arms and her legs were not
moving.
They were. You know how sometimes Serena can get really sloppy with her legs.
Yeah.
But then she might power her way through it.
And then
she was a nervous fucking wreck.
She was.
So was I. On my couch in my living room. I was a nervous wreck too. And can I just be real honest? I'm going to be real honest for a minute. During the damn rain delay last night when they showed it again, I watched it. I watched it the first time. I'm watching it the second time, and I swear to God, if it didn't cross my mind, maybe she'll win this time. Because I'm watching it, and I'm watching her. I'm watching these little pushes happen, and there were so many, but there were just so many moments where you thought, okay, here it comes, here it comes. But it was only like 1 or 2 points, and then she was gone again.
I would invite you to look at Serena. The 2 matches that come to mind right away, and it's Azarenka and Azarenka in Australia 2010 and Azarenka in Serena 2012 US Open. And Serena is playing sloppy for like the middle part of the match. In Australia, she was playing sloppy for a set and a half. Azarenka was up 4-love, I think, or 5-love in the second set. And there is a moment where Serena basically, all of this stupid shit that she's doing, the sloppy legs, the tight arms, she just, athletes go through this where there's muscle memory, where it's just like, I put in the practice, I did the hard work, I did all this shit, now it's time for me to relax. And she's completely relaxed. But in this moment, she couldn't. Usually when she released this, come on, then she's relaxed. And she goes through the match. She couldn't
the best
do that.
release that she had. Yes, bitch, yes.
Right. And then she became, but that was not even the typical usual Serena, right? Like
Yeah, because it's not usually,
So
but
that
she couldn't release, she was literally fighting herself because that bitch, I know, she couldn't unleash the beast. As a matter, she needed to let go of the beast.
Well, you know what? Can we ask a question here? Because one of the things I think is always, one of the things I think I always really admire about Serena is that I think it's really important that when you're doing something, you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you're there and it's your moment and you're pressing through and doing what you need to do. And in a strange way, it feels like to me that Serena allowed other people to begin to define this experience for her. Do you know what I mean? Because in a strange way, this was the first time that Serena's journey became about a legacy, right? This has been the dialogue that we've been hearing all year.
Exactly.
From the beginning of the year, especially with Patrick and having her recognize her place in history. And it's a funny thing because I think she was playing freer when she was playing for herself.
Yes, it's true. It is true.
And then suddenly people decided to layer this experience on it, and then the WTA wanted it to be this thing, and then every eye comes up, and for the first time it was about people and this sort of progression of the tour. And it was just a lot. And I thought, you know what? It's a tennis match, people. At the end of the day, it's a tennis match. And I know I'm a big fan of mythology as well, adding all these other layers. And I think you all will get my drift because this happened on the men's side as well. This notion that there's more going on in the match than simply two people playing. Because reality's sake, if it was just the two of them out there playing, Vinci's done and done in 2 sets.
Oh.
Yeah. Done and dusted.
It was,
done and dusted. And it's
she was gonna be treated because
like
Serena
she normally is treated.
Exactly.
And it speaks volumes that Vinci won that match, and she flat out admitted she didn't think she had a shot.
Yes, and she knew she didn't have a shot.
She knew.
But you come out there on that day and then you test the water, see how the wind blowing, and Vinci was just like, at the end of the day, this is the beauty about tennis for me.
Yeah.
Is that you could blow somebody out 6-love, win all 36, 6 times 24 points.
Yeah.
A golden set. And you can have that golden set in your hand. But you have to win that second set. You have to win that second and that third set.
Well, so and Arthur Ashe always said that if you win a set 6-love, watch out.
Right.
But it's also, let's all remember that one time at Roland Garros, when Robin Soderling took out Rafa Nadal after Rafa took him out the weeks prior, 6-love, 6-1 or some silliness.
Yeah, 6-love, 6-1, yeah.
So, I want to stop the narrative.
Let's be 100 here, folks.
Okay.
Let's be 100.
Let's.
Let me just say, Fonini.
Let me finish by saying, let's eliminate the narrative that Vinci tried some new strategy that other ladies are going to be trying against Serena, because
that didn't happen.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead and do that. Do that.
That did not happen.
The whole thing about it's so nice to see someone with variety win with a backhand slice, because suddenly everybody loves a backhand slice. And that's really why she won, even though she's always played with a backhand slice.
Yeah.
So
we saw you and we heard you.
Listen, folks,
we
you know what?
We saw all the tweets about class. We saw all the classic tweets. Yes, Casey Delacqua, we saw you.
Oh,
yes,
come on.
No, I'm gonna call out these itches.
No, call them out. Call them out.
Call them out. Yes, Casey Delacqua, we saw you because you play with class, you know, with your two-handed backhand. Okay? You play with a lot of class. Okay? And Andrea Lavachkova, or Andrea Silent H, as we call him. Yeah, we saw your tweet. And we will be keeping our eye on you on the issue of sportsmanship.
Yes, Miss Model is it?
Miss Check Privilege. Who came from a privileged background with your father owning his own business and your mother being a homemaker. Yeah, because Serena's mother had to go out and work, and so did her daddy. And they weren't members of the country club down the road. Okay.
Well, there were a lot. I will say that there were a lot of. I later on, when I came on Twitter, I did see a lot of coded language.
Of course.
Coded language about what it meant to have. Listen, you know what? I watched it. I was very happy for Vinci in the moment because you know what? Afterwards, when I listened to her speech, it was very charming. And when you took out the history out of it, just like I was happy for Soderling when he did it. When you take out the history and you recognize that someone is about to achieve something that they never dreamed was possible, you can't help but be touched by that. You know, you can't help but be moved by Vinci.
You're a better woman than I
was. No, I was. You know, because I didn't give the moment all the other stuff. But if you look at them as purely athlete to athlete, without all the other loaded shit that people put on it, you realize Vinci's 30-something years old. Never been to a Grand Slam final, never made as much money as she will make from getting there. It's massive. You would want that for any friend you have. You know what I mean? You know?
Like I said, I went to church. And I prayed about it. And you're right. And I prayed about it.
But I tell you,
you know what though, Karen? Can I tell you, Karen? You can enjoy it, but you know what happens is it's all the other layers that people put into it. Because I enjoyed Vinci having her moment, even though I was sad for Serena, and I knew Serena would be fine because she is. You know, the reality is it was bittersweet, it was horrible, but she's fine. She's going to come back next year and play as much as ever and probably win all the slams again. She's fine. But one of the things that I think really damages the experience of the sport after you've had this wonderful, unique live experience is coming back and seeing all of the loaded language that other people use to describe something that you enjoyed. It's all of it's sort of the racist language, the animalistic language, the pretty tennis language, it's all
of the undermining.
It's all of the undermining that came out.
Funny is that, you know, some of these people who are writing, I saw you people. I saw you live and in living colors. You look like someone pissed in your cornflakes. And you were mad. You were pressed more than the doorbell, more than the back key on the keyboard. You were pressed because you weren't able to make the money that you thought you were going to make. You couldn't pull out that piece. You couldn't pull out that piece that you had written up already, thinking that it was all done and dusted. You just had to change the score lines. I know the tricks, boo. I know them.
I have to say that was the
had
part
to actually do real work.
No, that was
you
the part of it that I didn't mind. I didn't mind
but
that.
You know, but you see, and they couldn't come up with anything original anymore.
No, they couldn't because they were counting on the Serena slam.
Exactly. So what they had to go back to was the old tried and true bullshit mess
of trying to analyze a match that they didn't even pay attention to.
Exactly. And then they had to go pull out the old, because you know what? You know, I wouldn't out myself, but I'm just simply saying, ain't many people actually watch the match. I'm just letting you know.
You know what I love? You know what I love about this part of the conversation? Knowing that you were sitting and talking with people and throwing out interview questions to players, and they don't have a fucking clue that it was you.
That's kind of worse.
I know, but the thing is, it's interesting because after a while, I mean, okay, can I be 100 right now? I'm about to be 100.
We always 100.
In a really different way than Karen was 100.
Okay.
I was watching this whole thing, and you know me, I'm cynical. So I sat back and I was like, you know what? You take that money that you thought you were going to ride on the coverage. Because did you notice everybody who was all about this coverage, when Serena lost, they abandoned ship?
Oh, yeah.
It was like rats fleeing. Suddenly, it was how impressive Vinci was, and how impressive and how wonderful it was to have a brand new champion. I mean, this is the power of having to create a narrative to sell something. Because I suddenly on my timeline, or other people who never wrote about Serena in such glowing terms, it was like some magical thing had been happening all week, and then suddenly once she lost, it was like, whoop, here goes all the cash falling away, and then suddenly it was like the magic of Vinci, the magic of the Italian. Oh, this is wonderful. This is a beautiful love story for tennis. And I thought it was, I have to say, props to tennis writers and tennis reporters for being able to jump on that ship.
I mean,
but that's what they do. That's what they do.
But it was easy because there is that playbook that they pull from. But you know what I thought was so hilarious in the end, and I'm because I watched the women's final, and I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna let you know.
Great, right? It was great.
No, it was full of shit. And I'm gonna let you know right now, Roberta Vinci capitulated that second set.
Of course.
And she never even let her serve it out. She just...
Oh, the rain was coming. And my favorite part was then Flavia Pennetta just said, you know what? Fuck you, WTA. I'm retiring. Thanks for the cup. Goodbye.
Well,
but you know what? In another way, I would say...
It's not an FU, though. It's not an FU.
It's not an FU. It's not an FU, but because, at 33, it's like the usual age by now. Most players have already retired. Steffi Graf retired at 29, if I'm not mistaken. So 33 is kind of like an old age, and then you have two of the better players on the tour, 35 and 33.
Well, but honestly, though, do you want to be? Who's the other Italian that won the Roland Garros?
Francesca Schiavone.
Do you want to be Francesca? Do you want to be poor Franny? No. You've reached the heights of winning a Grand Slam, and the next year you're losing in the first round of things. Or
No.
You're playing qualifying.
And you're playing qualifying.
Hold up. Point of order. The next year, Franny made it back to the finals of French Open. Okay.
She crashed 2 years later, but still.
But since then, what?
But you know what? I tell you what had happened, which I think had happened. So Franny got that French Open championship money, and Franny decided to build a big, massive house in Verona. And then, she built a house on credit. She got the finest marble.
Listen, that
ain't true, okay, folks? I'm just simply saying, in my mind, I imagine that Franny got the finest marble. She got everything custom made. And Franny got to stay on tour to pay that mortgage because shit.
Well, no, I mean, or Franny enjoys playing the tennis. But the reality is, when you reach the heights of winning a slam and then having to go through qualifying, and remember, Flavia Pennetta considered retiring earlier in the year because she was struggling with injuries. I would completely
2 years ago,
I would completely drop the mic. I'm gonna make the biggest paycheck I've ever made in my entire career in one day. You better believe I'm dropping that mic and saying, you know what?
Peace out.
It's gonna be peace. See you later.
Deuces.
Wonderful. That was a wonderful story.
But I'm just simply saying, so there you go. So you can't even continue the narrative that this is great for women's tennis because she's disappearing.
She's gone. She doesn't even come back to defend it.
She doesn't even come back. And please, Flavia, please, I beg you, please, don't show up next year, U.S. Open, looking like Marion Bartoli at Wimbledon 2000.
Oh my God!
Please, girl, I beg you.
You know what? We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do any Bartoli shaming on this place.
Oh, it ain't Bartoli.
We might be real, but we're not that real.
Okay, I'm just simply saying.
I didn't even know who she was.
I
No,
have
she
no
looks
problem.
a hot mess.
Stop it. Stop it.
I didn't even recognize her.
You
I'm
know what?
serious.
I
Hey,
am
she
barely
lost
See,
calling
weight.
I
her
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Marianne is coming out of her shell. It's like
yes.
Marianne is. I don't know what was happening to her when she was an athlete that she didn't look like
the
an athlete.
It's
daddy.
all
But
that muscle.
now that she has left the
No longer
sport,
an athlete.
she
She
is
looks like the
looking fit
athlete.
and fabulous. And I think it's wonderful because you know what? The stress of playing tennis was probably too much.
She should send a
So
picture of herself to John Inverdale.
no, no. I know. The last laugh is that he's going to be gasping on his deathbed
Yeah,
somewhere while
and
she's
wondering, yeah, saying,
living life wonderfully.
yeah,
So we're
exactly.
happy for her. But so I mean,
She could dress
you
better.
know,
That's my point, people. She could wear some better clothes.
that's fine. That's fine.
She
But
doesn't need to show up in the commentator booth looking like she has on lingerie.
I love it.
Why
You know
not? If you
what?
haven't
No.
flaunted, have you seen whatever
I
she's
have
wearing?
No,
I have
no.
no problems with it. You know what? You shake a tit out if you want to, girl. Shake a
Oh
tit
my god.
do it if you.
Alrighty then.
I love it.
Before we move on to to
The
what
man.
everybody is listening, but what everybody,
Yeah.
I just want to give a special shout out to someone who reached out to me today via Twitter, and I just want to give a shout out to that particular person. And if I could only find your tweet, then my life would be so much better. But
What was it about?
this person reached out to me and shared an article with me today that he wrote in relation to the whole Serena incident. And as soon as I find it, I will share it.
What was the summarize? What's the gist of it? What's the gist?
Just basically, indicating, how the latent racism that that is the go-to for most tennis writers whenever they talk about Serena, and the lack of sportsmanship and the callousness in relation to the media. Fuck the media. Everybody treats the media like shit anyway, because 90% of them are on somebody else's payroll. So nobody really gives a shit about tennis media right now. God, they're going to draw and quarter me, aren't they?
Why would they? Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
it was a very interesting take on the whole Serena narrative, and I really enjoyed reading the article. So I just wanted to give that particular individual a shout out.
Well, I
on that.
think ultimately in the end, I think everyone wanted on the Serena ride. Not so much because maybe they genuinely wanted on the ride. Maybe they just wanted on the ride because it was a cash cow ride.
Mhm.
It was about sponsorship. It was about commercials. It was about viewers. It was about a lot of things. And I think, unfortunately,
And it was something that I think that the average person
yeah,
could understand.
yeah,
I mean, let's not
that's
forget
the way
the
to
fact that
access. Yep.
right, because Serena basically won 4 slams in a row.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Nobody wanted to talk about. I mean, like, and
Yeah,
we
last
thought
year nobody cared.
that's a tremendous effort. I mean,
Yeah,
in and of itself, to win 3, if Djokovic effort is a tremendous effort this year, Serena
yeah,
straight up in 4 straight majors
it's a
after
big
playing
deal.
horrendous in the previous 3 and get to the finals and win them and
Pretty
then
big deal.
It
got
was
to
one
the
tennis
semifinals.
mate. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's an incredible
it
feat.
was her first loss at the U.S. Open since 2011.
But I
Since she
will
lost
say
in the
this.
final.
I will say this.
Uh-oh.
There was a lot of black rage.
Oh yes,
There
yes.
were lots of people leaving
And,
the crowd
and I think
off
it's unfortunate. I
set
think
because I think that happened. I think they were expecting what Realz talked about, which is the magical transformation of a black athlete into something
people. Let me tell you something.
extraordinary.
I
And when
followed
it
when I
didn't
was.
happen, it was people really spiraled out of control.
I'll tell you something, a little secret about myself. When I was younger, I wanted to be an Olympic historian. It doesn't even exist, but that's what I wanted to do. To be the historian to give you Olympic perspective. And I followed the Olympics religiously. I took off 2 weeks from work and watched the Olympics. I did it anyway. I saw every ball bounce, every swim, every jump, every flip, every twist. I can tell you about dressage. I know you already know what the fuck is dressage, right? But anyway, and let me tell you something. It has always been historically African American athletes, I'm gonna say African American because this kind of crazy racism, crazy shit doesn't particularly exist elsewhere in the world. Okay, I mean Australia maybe, but you know what? It's kind of America kind of has everything. We kind of max it up, like we're gonna judge racism up to some crazy fucking heights. Anyway,
Because we do everything big here.
it's just gonna be big. We can't do simple, easy racism. We gotta do it big and complicated and institutionalize that shit. But I say all this to say that it's been Serena is not the first black athlete to people. Joe Louis, Jack Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. You go to the 1934 Olympics in Berlin, if I'm not mistaken, 1936. Jesse Owens. I don't remember their names, but let me tell you something. In 1964 Olympics, Mexico, I think it was, or 68 Olympics, Mexico, two black athletes won the 400 meters and bronze and the gold, put their hand up of black power. They kicked them out. They kicked them out of the games. Both men have been washing cars. At that same Olympics, you know what happened? A white girl from Czechoslovakia complaining about the invasion in that whole debacle. That's why Martina Navratilova don't play for Czech Republic. She plays for United States because of Czech issues within it. She put up her hand and she refused. She refused to acknowledge the flag while she was on the medal, receiving the gold medal. She continued. Nobody said a word. So trust me, black humanity is not going to be saved by black sports achievement.
Excellence.
Excellence, because we have done that. Whether in academics, whether on the field, whether even some heroic gesture where we save somebody's life, it doesn't change. I mean, like, it's unfortunate, and I mean, like, I don't even know what else to say other than to say you cannot put your hopes and feeling to think that Serena was gonna save you. Serena can only save herself, and you see, it doesn't even take too much to get them down her throat and call her all manner of names, and done so in open public, in open forum, with everybody else, with the establishment watching. Because I would like someone to tell me why Max Eisenberg is representing tennis players.
And why he's representing a black tennis player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A mixed one all at that, but why is he why would you, as someone who's representing clients, young women, why would you go on Twitter and make the kinds of comments you are making when everybody who's following you knows who you are? So that means that this is something that you share privately. It's not something, so you don't feel embarrassed enough to sit out there and make claims about Serena's class, Serena's body
and Madison
type.
Keys hits harder than Serena.
But it has nothing to do with that. We know it has to do with skin color, and it has to do with hair texture, and it has to do with all these other kinds of things. Thick lips, and all of these other things.
Nose and...
So why would you feel comfortable doing that from an account which is followed by other players
and journalists?
I mean, this is something that is, you publicly are saying these things where I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, I assume you say them privately. But to say them out publicly, I mean, that means you have no shame. That means you think there's some level of agreement.
That means you know that you have a level of privilege that excludes you from ever being called out for this type of behavior.
That was very shoddy, and I thought that was I thought that robbed Vinci's moment. I thought that I think all of the people who thought that they were celebrating Vinci actually created a very sort of black mark on her moment, because they weren't genuinely happy for Vinci. They were just happy with Serena's loss. Right. And so, I mean, I think it's nice that you thought that you were trying to celebrate Vinci, but the reality was it was pretty clear what you were doing. And it's a shame, because you know what? I enjoyed Vinci's moment because I took it as a genuine moment, and it's sad that you didn't. So, and I think Serena's going to be fine. And what is all that noise?
What noise?
The clicking and the clucking.
Yes, I heard it too. And and it's
It
not
sounds like
Billy's
someone dropping
very
marbles
quiet.
in a glass.
Oh,
Stop all the extras, Reels. I'm blaming you.
okay. I'm just happy myself. Okay, all right, it's done. It's over. I
Are you?
finished.
What are you doing?
Oh, I wasn't fucking anything. It was a blend, a ball, whatever. It was
Oh
something in a
Stop
cup.
it.
God,
Stop it.
Jesus!
Stop it.
This
We
is
already.
Anyway,
we're
anyway,
we're
grounded.
already on edge right now. Cause
okay.
are
So
we
let's
heading?
talk.
Are we going down that road now?
No, where we're gonna
But
go
you know
now?
what?
Okay, so
I
yes.
just want to say, before people think I'm mad and hate whatever, I really am happy that Flavia Pennetta won. I am not mad that she won. I'm just sad that Simona Halep didn't take that opportunity.
Oh, Simona.
Yes. Oh
Simona
God.
will. Let's talk about that. Let's talk
She
about
was
what
flat.
happened to Simona.
Yeah.
Recognizing
Flat.
but you know what? It cost her. What is with this new Simona Halep strategy of running down balls like a big defensive fool? What is that about? Why has Simona
Well,
decided?
You need to ask our Uber coach.
Which actually, I think there is a piece somewhere running around somewhere. Where
I'm not reading anybody's writings these days.
no,
So
Oh, not
but
today.
no,
not
but
today.
it was asserted. I may have it wrong, so I can stand to be corrected. That
Please.
because Darren Cahill is with this Adidas,
He's
player
no
program,
longer. He's
whatever.
moving.
He's
Moving
no
on.
longer whatever the case to me. There is probably some kind of contractual issue where Darren Cahill can't advise Simona Halep if she's playing another Adidas player. Some shit along that line.
So you're
That,
basically saying that she went out there without a game plan.
that's
She's a
what
number two.
I have.
She's a number two player in the world. She doesn't need somebody to sit down and hold her hand and
Well,
tell her.
obviously she does.
Wait,
Apparently she does.
Something happened because I have been noticing it all tournament. I said to myself, why has Simona decided that she's
playing
gonna
junior
hang at
tennis.
why is she hanging at the baseline and running around, running herself ragged, getting back every single ball in play? It worked fine for Azarenka, but we
Right.
knew it was gonna cost her because she looked dead on her feet. And then she comes out against Flavia Pennetta, who basically sliced her up and diced her up. I mean, came in on every short ball,
Because she was
took
having already
complete
problems
control.
with
Yeah, with her legs.
Lisicki. She was already in a problem with Lisicki. So, I was disappointed because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm like, I'm all about the money, right? Take that next round money is all better. And I'm taking nothing away from Flavia's victory. It's an amazing thing. Italy can rejoice and sing and whatever the case they need to do and sing opera. I'm there for the opera part. But, for me, I just saw that, I was all about, I said I wanted Serena and Simona to be in the final, and I didn't care who won. And I was really hoping that Simona, because I think there is something genuine and lovely about Simona that I particularly enjoy. I like her tennis. I don't think that is an effective strategy. I'm with you, Andreen. She's playing
I don't
junior
get
tennis.
it.
I don't understand why Simona, especially as a small person, I know people like to refer to Justine and Arden. People look at Justine at the net. Bitch, don't fuck up. Sorry to say bitch. She don't fuck up at the net. Justine wasn't fucking up at the net. She knew how to work her way from the back of the court to the front of the court. She could do everything, including serve up 120 something miles an hour. So people, yeah, I don't understand. It's something I saw in the junior level too, especially among the boys. I didn't watch a lot of junior girls, but the junior boys, they are slinging away from the back of the baseline, miles behind, and I don't understand that they had no potential to move forward. And I thought it was like a really disastrous game, running up and down, chasing balls. Like, you don't got that much energy in you. You really don't. Like, you're not ready. And none of notice, albeit they didn't. None of them had cramps. Just gotta put that out there.
That's for the review show.
No, it was weird. No, it was weird. It was weird to watch Simona though, because it just seemed like it was something she decided to try these last 3 weeks, and I was like, well, this is bound to cost you at some point, and
Well,
it did.
hopefully she won't try it again because it really didn't work out too well for her. Simona, put that shit to rest.
So so the men's final.
Let's
Yes.
do it.
I will preface by saying I
The men's
saw,
semifinals. Let me just preface it by saying
Yeah.
this. Marin Cilic, I don't care what the fuck you want to tell people about your ankle bullshit. You are telling lies.
You got schooled, boy.
Lies.
You got
Lies.
schooled by the Serbian devil.
I don't know. I mean,
I
Marion
swear.
didn't say anything. Marion didn't say anything about his ankle. It was
Oh, yes,
Novak.
he did.
Novak Djokovic offered the excuse on
No,
court.
no, 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 no. They offered him an excuse. He
Oh.
said, I don't know what it was. I did believe something was happening, but he said, you know what? He came on the court, and I assumed he was fit to play. And boo, I'm all with you there. If you show up on court and he's moving badly and he's limping, hampering, you don't stick around there wondering where he's going to move. You test his legs and capability. And if you see he ain't doing shit, you take advantage because ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for your ass if you lose to a man with in a wheelchair. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. Marin Cilic, you did jack shit. You did nothing.
Nothing.
You should have let who did you beat?
Sangha.
I don't forget who you beat. Sangha. Oh God, never mind me. You know what? I'm gonna fuck Sangha. Kenny Shikori, your ass should have been in the semifinals. I'm still bitter over that shit. Even though I'm not on your bandwagon, even though you know I came out to the bustle ticket line to buy a ticket for your bandwagon, I am still pissed over that Kenny Shikori. Fucking Benoit Paire, who used to be my number 3, have no business. No business at all. Getting out of the first round. If he wants a better place in the majors, he should get his fucking ranking updated in number 32. So he could have showed of being in the third
Well,
round.
he did it. He did it. He did it though. He did it. He did what he needed to do. I'm not even mad about all of that. I'm mad about that final.
Let me just say,
Let's start from the bottom. How many break points did he have?
23.
23.
11,000.
23.
23.
Now, can I ask the question?
Go right ahead.
Did Federer allow? I mean, we don't often give this to Federer, but this was his first final at the U.S. Open in 6 years. It was, weirdly enough, I didn't think about it because he had a chance at 18 at Wimbledon, so I didn't think he'd be focused on that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But if this person wasn't named Federer and I saw that scoreline and I saw the way that match unfolded, I would say that this person
did well.
got caught in the moment. I mean, are we gonna? No one has said that.
Yes, I can see
no
that.
one has said that, but I have to ask myself that. I have to ask myself that.
I don't know about the moment, but you know, I think I sent you an email from a fellow Fed fan, you know, one of the attorneys that work in my office, and his take was he's wondering whether or not Federer doesn't believe that he can win these big matches.
Oh, I don't believe that. No,
I think Federer absolutely believes he can win the big matches.
In this moment, he knew that was on his racket.
Right.
Federer played a B, I mean, maybe C+ level,
yeah.
B+ level, and he still pushed it to 4 set because Novak Djokovic don't believe the hype, don't believe all the pressers, don't believe all the commentary. He was not playing extraordinary tennis. Novak can play better. He didn't play that great.
No, he didn't.
This match was on Federer's racket. So I'm not saying that I don't think that he didn't believe he could, but something got in the way of Federer playing free-flowing tennis.
I think that going into it, I think we can all probably, with good conscience, say that the likelihood was that Novak was going to win because that's just what he does.
Yeah.
However, I think that it's fair to say anybody, from regardless what your fan base is, Federer had a shot because he has played amazing tennis all summer.
Yes.
And the amazing tennis that he played all summer is not the tennis that he played in that final. It's not. Had he
Yeah, that's true. For both.
Had he played at the level that he played the entire tournament, and in Cincinnati, he would have won that match. He had his serve broken. Come on, think about it statistically wise.
From 40-15, from 40 love up.
But he had only had his serve broken twice by Kohlschreiber in the entire tournament. He hadn't lost his serve in like 30-something games.
Yep.
He didn't play that kind of tennis. His first serve was non-existent at times.
Actually, statistically, I checked the numbers. Let me just say before I talk about the numbers. U.S. Open, fuck you and your rain delays bullshit. Okay, I'm not a believer in this quote, this cover for Ash, but this is the second fucking year in a row when I'm all here for Federer's victory and your fucking rain delay fucked it up and then Federer come out there and look flat-footed.
Cold,
Let me just
very
put that
flat.
out there. The tennis gods, weather people, I'm not here for that shit, okay? Let me just put it out. But actually, he was getting a good percentage of the first serve in. He was winning a good percentage of the first serves. But the problem was that his second serve was a fucking mess. When he was
And that's
winning and
not
playing
usual.
well,
That's not usually.
No.
and usually when he's been playing well against Wawrinka Stanley, his second serve he was winning 60 something percent of the point. Yesterday he only won 40 something percent of the point.
Yeah.
The
And
other thing that,
even at points, his first serve
right,
percentage in the
but
first set.
what really got me was that I think Nole is stronger, faster, whatever. But Federer looked remarkably different and fitter than I've seen him in a long time, and he was able to hang with Nole. My problem that I saw was that, and it's crazy to say this, Federer was making a whole bunch of tactical errors.
Yes.
Federer's game is subtle. Federer exists in margins, and he knows the right place to be and whatever. Federer
He
was
did some
rushing the
stupid
net.
shit.
Exactly.
But this is
Federer
what.
rushed
But
the
this
net
is
like
what.
Andy Roddick.
Wait,
And
wait, wait,
Mhm.
but
Federer was rushing the net like Andy Roddick. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Of course
But,
it's gonna pass your
but
ass. And that.
this is a problem, and this is the thing, you know. It's the same way when when Nadal used to have his Nadal
Right.
probably still has his number. He tended to
I'm gonna pretend that
overplay.
he doesn't have his number anymore, because
He
Nadal don't know how to find his way to the final to beat him.
he
that's good. That's fine.
he pretended he overplays when he plays. He used to do it against Andy Murray as well. He would overplay in those situations because especially when those guys are defenders and
Yeah.
they will get him embroiled in these long ass rallies. And you know, let's be real, as fit as Fed is, I mean, none of us don't want to see him in these long, grueling 20, 30 stroke rallies. One, they're fucking boring, and two, they deplete his energy. It's the same thing that happened, you know, at Wimbledon. You know, his service game became much harder because, and you know, let's give credit to the jackass across the other side of the net. You know, in Djokovic, he's one of the best returners on tour. So he basically, I mean, he came out with a game plan: be aggressive, to take the ball as early as he could and try to disrupt Federer's rhythm. That's basically what his game
But
plan
that's
was.
but
And
that's
he succeeded at it.
But
But you
Federer
know what?
knows that. Federer knows that game plan because that's Federer's own game plan. But in a weird way, Djokovic was more aggressive.
Right.
Considering that Federer had always been aggressive, and that was that. I thought that I was shocked by the final because I felt like it had taken Federer a really long time to fully own this new path that he had put himself upon. And I thought that once he did Cincy, yes, I understand that the surface is a little bit kinder in Cincy, and he had a little element of surprise. But even the fact that he didn't even use the dreaded saber, he didn't use it at all this match. And so to me, it's like, well, occasionally. But I'm just thinking to myself, why retreat? I mean, so that's why I really felt in some weird way.
Right. Why are you changing something that has just worked for you 3 weeks ago?
And that you're fully committed to.
Actually, because
I understood 2 years ago when he wasn't committed. I understood when he was hesitant, and I understood when he was sort of like, I don't know if I'm feeling silly or whatever. But then for you to come all the way here, see how successful it is, and then retreat. I mean, that's why I really had to say maybe the moment got to Federer. Maybe he really started to think too much about it because it just didn't make any sense to me.
I'm gonna say partly with what Karen said, that in many ways I thought he overplayed. Like he was there. The ball, like, oh God, like in that second set when he did finally win it. If he didn't win, I was gonna throw myself off of it. There was no bank for me to throw. I was just gonna throw myself somewhere. and just be run over or something. Actually, I was gonna go up on the top of the ash and just roll myself all the way down to the fucking court. And when I get there, be like, "Fucking Federer, this is what you did to me," and I just drop dead. Federer just simply threw away. Oh, Federer don't miss overhead. He doesn't. He
No, he
doesn't miss
made
overhead.
stupid
So
Oh my
he
God.
He
It
was
was
I didn't
nervous.
recognize him. I
it
didn't recognize
He
him.
was
it
nervous.
was crazy. It was
He
so crazy.
hasn't been in a
When
he
he has a
hasn't been in a U.S. Open final since 2006.
this is Federer. He
9.
got what? Look,
Nine.
9.
9.
and I'm just
Yeah, but
like,
I mean, but
Federer had
I
5
understood
break
that.
points
I understood
in
that.
one
And that's why I
game.
didn't understand.
They
Yeah, I mean, every
went
chance he
triple
broke
break
Jovac,
point.
he had opportunities to get back the break. He did it in the first set. He got the break back after the dude falls, and then he sacrifices it again. Then, as the match is ending, he has 2 break points. Yes, 2 break points to get it back to 5-all after having gotten that second break. And then he has that final break to get back, and one of them Djokovic won, but the other one was another sloppy Federer error. I've not seen an error-strewn Federer match like that in a long
This is what
time.
he said. This is what he said. He said, yeah, a lot of opportunities missed. A lot of opportunities. If the backhand, the forehand volley, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I know why I lost the match very clearly the moment I sat down at 5-2, down in the fourth set, or after the match was over. So something I will work on and keep moving forward. It's no problem for me. Yeah, boo, I get that, but it's a problem for me, and that's a problem.
I
If
don't mind
you're
it.
if
I didn't mind that because he wasn't blown. See, I don't. This is what scares me. What scares me when I have a favorite is when I think that they play the best they can play
And they lost.
and they lose. Then
Yep, I'm right there with you.
There's nothing you can do then. That means
Better.
that you have to look at yourself and go, I did the
He's
best
better
I
than
could,
me.
and I'm done. And you
Yep.
know what? And then you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to have any opportunities. But if you read the pundits and you disbelieve your own eyes, you know that Djokovic was not unplayable. You know that. You know he wasn't like Cilic last year even, where Federer wasn't even able to get into the match really. I don't know what happened. So it's like these were Federer errors that cost him that match.
Yes.
That you know what I mean? So
And it's in a weird way it's comforting.
it is. It's much more comforting because it's also like the Wimbledon as well. Like in a weird way, both finals are very similar in the sense that I never felt that last year Federer performed better in the Wimbledon final than he performed in both this final and the Wimbledon final this year. He was not close at all, and I'm not certain what happened because he was so perfect up to that point, and then in the actual match itself, nothing worked. None of the groove worked. None of the clicks worked. And so yes, I understand that he can work on that because he wasn't outplayed by Djokovic. Djokovic was just steadier, and
It was like he lost his brain at times.
So, yeah, it was like, what? Oh my God, what are you thinking about? I know that to play that type of tennis, you have to be very focused, and you have to really sort of seize your moment. And I do understand that Djokovic, as a returner, apparently can make the court seem very, very small and put a lot of pressure on you and force you to go for shots. But Federer wasn't going for shots that were impossible to make. He was missing regular shots.
Yeah. And how many times did you think, why you keep hitting it back to him? Like, seriously, why are you doing this?
It's an old people thing. It's
hit it the other way.
Because Serena does it as well, and Venus does it as well. It's an old folks thing.
Well, they should know.
I think they were taught that in some tennis.
Well, sometimes you can hit it back to the person. The person's reflex isn't strong enough, or maybe you didn't get the right position. But it was, and one of the interesting things to me, I have to, because one of the things that I think is really funny about the Djokovic legacy, which I will admit I've muted some people because I have no time for it.
You mean the Sparta? Sparta.
I just think it's really funny.
That guy is trying too hard.
I think it's funny that people are writing about this final like it was a final between two 29-year-olds. Djokovic, you got stretched by a 34-year-old.
Yep.
You don't have a rivalry except for Federer, who can almost get it there, and you can imagine that if Federer was 4 years younger, he'd be right up in your grill.
Oh, yeah.
And the occasionally consistent Stan Wawrinka. So I don't understand where you feel like Djokovic is this impossible athlete that is out of some stratosphere. Because
you ain't
the
300.
narrative.
Oh my God!
I know
I mean, I didn't care about the win. You know what I mean? Because I picked. You know what I said? I'm not picking anymore for the next thing. I picked Novak only to win this championship, and then the whole like this is Sparta. Oh my God!
This is Sparta. I'm like, seriously?
First and foremost, let me just give you a little fans, I hate the movie 300. I think it's fucking ridiculous and stupid, and it's historically inaccurate. Not that that really matters. But the whole thing is, first of all, just only Jared Butler alone worked out. All the other motherfuckers was CGI, and it was completely stupid. It had no real script. It was just some homoerotic boy popped up bullshit.
I mean,
Anyway.
maybe that's what Novak was telling us, that he and Jared Butler sat in a room together and admired their abs. I don't know what this is Sparta means.
I'll tell you something. Jared Butler.
Oh my God.
Crickets.
Was that? I'm assuming he doesn't mean that they were lathering each other up with oil.
Crickets.
Oh my
God.
I didn't say a word because usually when I talk about these things, people get mad and people say,
I don't get it. I was like, what is
Listen,
this?
I'm going to tell you what my favorite parts of that match were.
When the crowd started booing?
They didn't even... No, it wasn't even when they started booing. Really? It was when they started clapping on his first serves. Double fault. And I was like, I'm like, you know what? I know this isn't right. I know this isn't proper tennis etiquette. But it does... Listen, that shit does not happen to anybody on that level like it does to Novak. Ever. Ever. Yes, there is the Federer effect. New York, the world loves Federer. Everyone loves him. He is the favorite wherever he plays. But seriously, no, wait.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on my couch. I'm watching it. Novak hits a first serve, and it's out. And the crowd fucking goes wild. I mean, it wasn't even like that handful of drunk fans. It was all of Arthur Ashe, like, ah! Right? And I'm like, this is happening, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm asking myself, like, am I really supposed to be enjoying this? And I'm like, of course I am. This is the fucking Serbian devil. I love this shit. Like, that was amazing.
I gotta tell you.
Oh my God.
But you know
that shit was funny.
But you know what's funny is that the journalists are out there hating on the fans, right? And saying how the fans need to chill and whatever. Journalists, you people set this up because I'm just gonna, check your receipt. I'm gonna show you your receipt. Remember that Wimbledon final that happened like a month and a half ago? When Federer lost that one, you wrote about how Federer played the greatest tiebreaker of the entire world. You talk about the fact that Joker won. So you set it up. You were the one. Roger Federer was trending, and he lost. You set the agenda. So the fact that when Federer got into the final, I was just talking about Federer. So the fans, casual and true fans alike, didn't know that was somebody else across the net. Didn't know that they could actually beat Federer. And then y'all made this whole saber bullshit. Y'all created this narrative. Roger Federer said nothing.
I mean, seriously?
Tell me. This isn't Roger Federer's fault. And Ava asked
of course it's not his fault.
God bless her soul. She was trying to keep the crowd muted. And you know what? Most of the other umpires, if that was Leone wouldn't give a shit. He wouldn't. Let's be 110. He would say, please, and then he would smile mockingly.
Right? Totally. Totally.
It ain't right. It ain't right. But I just
Have
gotta
you
think
ever seen someone win a Grand Slam in a stadium clear out faster? Have you
oh
ever?
yeah, I had actually Serena. When Serena won last year, I swear to God, it was like somebody said hurricane is coming right now.
There was a storm. There was a storm.
If the camera had panned upwards, it would have been empty stands. They were all
See,
there for Wozniacki.
they were
They,
ready. They
but
were
you see,
ready.
they weren't real fans because had they all known what was coming, if they knew anything about Caroline Wozniacki, they would have sit their ass home and watched that and be like, "What people?"
They would have
Well,
known.
I
They
can
would
tell
have
you
known.
that I
They
have
would have
never
known.
seen Federer in any of his 17 major wins raise the trophy and do his, press pictures afterwards to an empty fucking stadium.
Well, you know what?
Oh no,
I've never
never
seen that.
happened.
But see,
I've
this
never
is
seen
what
that.
happens, though. This is what's
I've never seen that with anybody.
But see,
Let's be honest.
no. Let me tell
People
you.
don't like him.
But listen, this is the thing that I think is so strange, right? Because you've got I'm gonna admit it, you've got the Djokovic era, clearly.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, come
you've
on.
got the Djokovic era,
She's
which is
side
that
dying. Couldn't you hear it?
you've got the Djokovic era. However, you don't use Djokovic to sell tickets. That's the
Oh,
sad.
no.
Listen, this is the sad fact about it: is that Federer's presence, similar to what happened to Serena, their presence keeps the sport on the front pages and on all of the hit lists until the very end. And then what people realize is, oh shit, I really care about Federer, but this guy over here,
It's
he's
winning.
the one.
He won.
He's the one that's gonna win this match. And unfortunately, and it doesn't matter how many times you write an article about how Novak deserves. One thing that I will tell you is nobody cares when you tell them what they should do, who they should love. It's like a teenager. If you tell her or him to go love this perfect person here, they're going to say, fuck you. I'm going to go love this dude over there.
Well, I've got a big fuck you for you.
The mission is and it happens everywhere. It's what they used at Wimbledon. They used Federer's name to bring all the attention, to bring all the stuff. I didn't even know, at some point in time, you don't even know if Djokovic is in the final. You just take it as a given that he's there. They won't talk about him.
Right.
And all you hear about is Federer.
Yeah.
I'm here to see Federer. You see hats about Federer. You see everything about Federer. And then you show up, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. This is your error.
Yeah,
Right?
they
You
only
can't sell
talked
tickets.
about Federer. They only talked about Djokovic winning the tournament when he beat Lopez.
Well, or they only talk about Djokovic when he wins the tournament at the end, because his name, and sadly his reputation is not. It wasn't enough to get people to have the tickets raised at the final. Until Federer got into the final, suddenly the men's final bumped up in prices.
Right.
Okay, Djokovic was a given that he was going to get there, but people are like, wait a minute, who's going to get there with him? And that's really the reality. So even though it's Djokovic's era, it's only his era in the sense that he's winning. It doesn't mean that he is actually able to lead the sport in another place, take them
Because
to another.
he can't.
Yeah, you
can't.
can't introduce. And
Take your bowl of dates and keep fucking walking.
You're not here for the Joker life? You don't want some Joker life,
Listen.
Steven?
This is my biggest fuck you moment of the entire tournament. My biggest fuck you moment goes to Roger Federer.
Why?
Not because he lost, but because he thought he had some fucking jokes talking about, oh, one more thing, like Pennetta said. I'll be back next year. Listen, anybody who watched the women's final and saw how she did that, when Roger said that shit, I felt a little sick. I said, this is not happening. Motherfucker didn't crack a smile. He didn't do nothing. Just one more thing. And I said, oh, hell no. So you know what, Roger? Fuck you. Right there at that moment, you were right up there with the fucking Serbian devil. Fuck you both. That was mean. It was ugly. It was just nasty.
You know what? Because Roger Federer decided in that moment to show you what a world just with Djokovic was going to look like. And
yes, it was ugly. It was
saw
scary.
You saw your tennis dream flash right before your eyes,
Oh,
and you're
it was
like,
a
oh,
nightmare. It was like the worst nightmare ever that you can't wake up from. And it only lasted a half a second, if that. But God, was it awful.
But you know what fuck you about this though? Let me tell you though, the straight up deal is let's be honest here. Roger was pushed by Rafa, and even Nole, and then even Nole eventually was pushed by Rafa. I think it's time for somebody to decide that they need to push Nole. It can't be on It can't be on the old guy and the occasionally okay Stan. When Stan decides that he's gonna get ready and cock block somebody for a slam, okay? So all of you 20-somethings on your Generation Next boys, one of y'all need to step up.
Talking about you,
that's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be here to push back. No, you are supposed to be here to push Novak back. Federer had someone pushing him. Rafa had someone pushing him. Actually, Andy Roddick had someone pushing him. Y'all need to turn around.
Federer talked about this precise thing in one of his press conferences, and he said that, because we forget that Federer has seen a whole
all of them damn generations.
I'm afraid I want a lot of players we don't even talk about. Henman, Nalbandian, Hewitt when Hewitt was somebody. A lot of these players, Andre Agassi, he played Pete Sampras once, and Pete Sampras left, and then Andre Agassi. He talked about the fact that these players, he said, when I was younger, I wasn't winning so well, and these guys pushed me. They pushed my game. He talked about Nadal, how Nadal pushed him. But in Nole, he said he doesn't talk about Nole in that regard. He said that the game is it's straight up and down. He refers to it basically in the sense
it's a shootout.
It's like a shootout. There's not much to it. There's nothing really to it. We both come up with amazing points, and it's true. This is one thing I must say about their matches. It can be when it's on. It's pretty tennis. When they're playing.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the.
But it doesn't really push it. It doesn't push. It doesn't work the same way. It doesn't work the same way because I think Federer always. Djokovic has never presented a problem to Federer. That's why they're even. That's why it's 21-21.
The only reason why it's a problem in any real capacity is because of age. I mean, I'll be honest. That's why Djokovic is winning these encounters. Is because he's younger and fitter. I mean, realistically, Federer's game matches up well with him. If Federer could trust himself to go 5 sets with Djokovic, he'd be right up in there with them. So what I'm saying is somebody who pushed the same age range that pushed Federer when he was at Djokovic's level, somebody needs to come and do that. Federer is the only one that shows up every single week and tries to take Djokovic. Andy Murray can barely do it consistently. Stan can't do it consistently. Where are the rest of the people? Because you can't tell me Djokovic is some genius when we saw him win a match playing sloppy-ass tennis, which he does every time. And now the narrative is that he's just amazing and it's all fabulous and wonderful and he's amazing. I mean, someone seriously wrote a piece that I think it was Run of Play wrote a piece where he was trying to tell me that Federer is playing the best tennis of his life. Federer is 34 fucking years old, playing a guy who's 29 at his peak, and you want us to let that be the standard right now? I'm not saying Federer, but I'm just like, you can't use that to evaluate Djokovic.
But you know where that came from, right? You might not know where that came from because you were watching live.
I know exactly where it came from.
That came from on TV, the commentators talking to Federer's father, and they said, when have you ever seen him play better? And I believe this was during the match with Stan.
And he said he's seen his son play better.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he did not agree with them.
He did agree with them. He said, when have you seen him play better? And he shook his head no.
Recently, probably. When have you seen him
Well, maybe that's how he took it. But maybe I mean, that's how Papa Fed took it. But that's where people say things and then they take it and they run.
I'll tell you something. They've been saying that before that. Even on the European side,
but that's because Federer is maintaining. Federer is at a high level. But you can't tell me that Federer 2006 going toe to toe. Believe me, in 2007, Federer would be the same age as Djokovic is right now. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So you sitting back and telling me that this guy is being pushed by a 34-year-old who's playing at a very high level. Don't get me wrong, he is. But where are the people
I think
who
your math
are
is
around
off.
him?
I think your math is off. He's only 5 years older than Djokovic.
He's 6 years
Only
older than
5
Djokovic.
years?
In
Only
tennis,
5 years?
That's a lifetime.
No. Andreen said that in
I'm saying
2007.
2007. How old is Federer in 2007?
He is
28.
26.
26. Yeah. So 2 years off of Djokovic, which is what Djokovic was when he was coming into his own, right? 2013, 2015, 2000. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about age comparability, okay?
Right.
So I'm talking about who are the people pushing Djokovic. I'm not talking about Federer pushing Djokovic. That's a given. I'm talking about where are the young people.
Where's everybody else where they were when Federer was young and people were pushing him.
Now
that's what she's saying.
That's what I'm asking you.
God, listen to me.
So they aren't there.
So when people talk about Djokovic comfortably skating to a final, of course he's going to comfortably skate to a final. You've got a bunch of losers hanging around not doing anything.
You can't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't talk about weak era in the men's tour.
No, but see, what people used to say is people used to claim that Federer had a weak era, but now we know he didn't. Because now we know that there were people pushing and dragging on the tour, and those are the guys that are still here showing up week in and week out. We know that because those are the Feliciano Lopez's who are making it in second week. I mean, these are the people who are hanging around. It's like Serena did. She's retiring, folks. Federer retired, folks. But who is in Djokovic's era?
Federer and Serena put people to bed, put a blanket on, put a little
tuck them in, night.
Think about it. You've got Djokovic's key rivals. Djokovic's key rival is 34, and and his other rival is barely making it to second week of finals now. That's Rafa Nadal. So when people tell me that I need to puff my chest up and look at Djokovic, I'm like, Djokovic, who are you competing against? Who's in this era of yours? Where are your compatriots?
Federer is making Djokovic look like a fucking genius right now because here he is. He's winning. He won back-to-back slams, beating somebody who won 17.
I know. And
that's like when all those people were the naysayers when Federer beat Agassi. They said, "Oh yeah, he beat an old guy."
But suddenly
that old guy, Federer, that makes Djokovic a genius.
But Djokovic is suddenly a genius.
Oh God! I know I'm missing something here.
This is what happens when we watch tennis for years and we're old and we remember
exactly.
stories.
Yeah, we know better.
We know better. Because
we are old. We are old and seasoned fans.
And we remember.
We know. We get it.
I would say something. I would say something a little bit more than that. We're not just old, and we know. It's just like we actually watch the matches
and
we
remember.
Can watch it on mute. We don't need someone to tell us what's going on in the matches. We are intelligent viewers.
Yes.
And I'm talking to some people who I see at the
5 minutes.
Listening to
5 minutes after Brad Gilbert picked Fed to win, they get out on court, and then he's immediately putting qualifiers out there as to reasons why he may not win. You know what? It's windier than it's been all tournament. It's cool. Federer doesn't have the ball's not going to move through the air as fast. It's cool. There's been rain. He's had to sit for 3 hours. We don't know when he last ate. We don't know when he last warmed up. I don't know. Djokovic. Because this is the kind of shit that we had to listen to that was on TV. So, he was all excited, and he's going on and on and on about the stats of the tournament for both players, just like everybody else. Clearly, Federer should have won that match, just looking purely at how they had both played up until that point. Federer should have won that damn match, but they got out there and it's only 75.
Well, listen, everybody knows we're Fed fans, and we think that Federer's achievement is amazing. Because to be performing at this high level, being able to hang close to a #1 player who is 5 years younger than you is
and be #2 in the world. Come on.
Pretty damn amazing. But
and he's a solid #2. Simona Halep, I'm watching you.
Yeah. So don't try to kid a kidder by trying to elevate Djokovic by pointing out his rivals, because he has none. He has no rival in his age range. All right?
So, on that note, the U.S. Open is over.
Thank God.
I'm not even sure that it happened.
I'm not sure. You know what? I'm not even sure I cared. I'm not even sure I cared. I stopped caring about semis. What a bad U.S. Open, though. What a mess.
It was a hot fucking mess, you guys. We're on January already.
Oh, God,
Or London.
No.
I'm good for Thanksgiving time, November. I like the World Tour finals.
I'm looking forward to Asia. I'm looking to kid some shit in Asia.
I don't care about Asia.
I
don't care about Asia. I can't care about Asia because I can't wake up in the middle of the night and watch tennis. I'm too fucking old for that. I gotta go to work. So fuck Asia. Get to London where I can actually see some shit. And then I'll be happy. You know, I'm over this. I think this whole tournament as a whole was somewhat disappointing. I don't remember. Was it? I don't remember. But I didn't feel as engaged, and I don't know if it's because I didn't get to watch it all day every day like I have in years past or whatever. But I didn't feel like it was a great tournament just in general. People, Rafa went out early. I'm not a Rafa fan, but you kind of, it felt like he'd been playing better. I thought this was maybe a chance to redeem your season a little bit. I was thinking yesterday, where did Thomas Berdych go? What happened to him?
I saw where he went.
I don't even know when he lost.
Oh, I saw when he lost. I saw when Gasquet took him on for no goddamn reason.
But I couldn't even remember.
Or you know what it is?
What
it was
happened?
The loss of Andy Murray. Remember, Andy Murray was the one people chose to get to the final and to beat Novak Djokovic. He was supposed to be the one. I mean, hey, that's supposed to be your rival, Djokovic. This was supposed to be your era, the two of y'all. And so, it was just kind of, listen, I like a bit of surprise. I like a little bit of surprise as much as everybody. But damn, when the people who are supposed to be trying to, have some legs, even the semis with Simona was a disappointment because you're just so shocked that she allowed herself to just get you're the #2 player, lady. This is your moment, and you might have actually won the title. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It turned out that you might have had a shot because I think
Do you remember what we said? Do you remember what we said? We said, Vinci, Serena, that match is going to be a wash. The much better match of the day.
Yeah. We thought the better match was going to be Pennetta and Halep. Because I thought Halep was going to put up more of a fight.
Yeah.
Go figure. Go figure that.
And it should have been a better matchup. Oh, God, were we ever wrong? Holy shit.
When we were wrong, people, I am the man. I put Marin Cilic in the semifinals. If my best friend reminded me of that. My best friend said it. He said, everybody, you laugh about it. I said, you put Marin Cilic in the semifinals.
But you know what, though? You should be ashamed for putting him in the semifinals because he didn't play like he deserved to be there. But you know what? They both were like that. Stan and Marin Cilic lowballed themselves all the way to the semis. That's why when they met somebody who was even on form, it was done and done, okay?
Exactly.
Because they should have been handled in week one. Like
for real.
Struggle tennis.
They struggled the whole way. And but you know why? But you know why they're struggle tennising? Because again, the early 20-year-old boys are doing nothing. The early 20-year-old boys should not get away with that. Like if Donald Young goes to a gym, he should have taken care of Stan earlier. You know what I mean?
Look,
If Sangha
look.
went to the gym,
I
he'd have
maybe want to him.
eliminated
I'm
Chilich.
just gonna give a
Chilich
little
looked like he
side
was.
eye because I want someone to tell me why Donald Young, 25, 26, and I've been watching Donald Young since he was 15. Okay, I saw Donald Young at his first U.S. Open in 2005. I'm that old, but I look younger. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're not here for that. Anyway, I want someone to tell me how Donald Young is on the professional tour for over 10 years, and he's telling me that he decided to go into the gym and work out now. Motherfucker, I can't hear you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to look at you.
Did he really just admit that? Is
He
this
said
new
that.
for him?
Yes.
Is this new
He's like,
information?
I've decided to go. Look at me. I just said, don't look at me. You're gonna see the likes of Roger Federer, who has that easy breezy game. Okay, he can put his ass show up in a gym and work out. You're gonna see your idol, your mentor, Rafa Nadal. Do you know that Donald Young is right-handed? He plays left-handed. Something that people don't even tell you. You see your idol running around looking like a fucking juggernaut, Nadal, and it didn't clue
And it
into
just
this, that,
occurred to
this,
you to go to the.
you know, we could go. I'm trying to tell you, Donald Young wants to be number 60 in the world. So I'm sorry,
60.
I'm not getting on your bandwagon
Oh my
and trying to
Well,
tell
you know what? Okay, so
I'm
Andreen,
here for you
what was
when
your
you
favorite
trouble
moment?
with Taylor Townsend.
We're
My
not
favorite.
talking about Taylor Townsend.
No, we're done.
I've already said that piece on that one.
What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment was were two. Venus winning the second set. Playing beautiful tennis. That was great. Fist all the way up, fist pumping forever for that. And Federer handling John Isner like it was smash.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. Point of order. Let me tell you something. Twilight is kept. You know, Andreen be trying to come on here and be like she's all rational and she's all, you know,
I told
complete.
you, but I
And then,
told
no.
you, I'm a
Look,
nut.
I'm sure. Let me tell you which match was it. Was it Chilich and yes, Chilich and Sangha. I was with her watching that match.
I'm
If
so
someone had
pissed at that match.
jumped and
I'm
punched her
so
in the face,
pissed at
I
that.
would have let them get the first punch in, but they won't get a second one. I would have beat that person's ass because she was an irrational fan. She was just like, yes, Sangha, that would have been too easy, wasn't it? Oh no, why is he still here? Why is he still here, Sangha? I mean, come on. I mean,
Well, those of us who have known
wait,
Andreen
wait.
for a while
It gets
know
better.
that
It
she
gets
is
better.
a
It gets
Sangha
better.
lover.
Wait,
I knew,
no.
but I was so over Chilich in that match.
Wasn't even.
He was
It
so
wasn't even. Look, it could have been Nadal across the net. She didn't care. She was
She
not.
loves Sangha.
No, she didn't care.
Andreen loves Sangha.
My point is that she didn't care whether Sangha was playing. It
It's
could have
one
been
of those,
any.
yes, because it's irrational love.
It is. It's
No.
but he
No.
can play.
She
He can
wasn't. She
also
wasn't behaving
explain.
this way because it was Sangha. She was behaving this way because it was Chilich. It could have
Really.
been Chilich could have been playing anybody, and she would have felt the same way. And that John Isner match with Federer.
I
Oh
was
my
done.
God.
I was
She was
All
done.
right, all right.
Federer, why are you taking this Federer? What, oh my God, Federer. The tie break. I can't watch this tie break. I can't watch this tie break. No, I cannot watch this tie break.
I
No,
have
no.
just learned that I do not want to watch live tennis with Andreen.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Are you that bad?
no. She's
No.
very good with the women's matches. And
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
a man she doesn't care about,
I don't give a shit. I can watch it calmly. But when it's like my favorite, I cannot.
when it's
I'm
Federer, oh no,
irrational.
she's lost her mind.
She's a
irrational.
chatterbox.
I've
No,
it's not even
I mean,
chatterbox.
not even. I'm probably
Oh,
grab
that
your
nasty
arms too tight.
Tell that. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, Federer? Why are we doing
All
this?
right, Karen, favorite moment.
Thanks for blowing up my spot rail.
My favorite moment, and I really like this particular player, I really do.
Oh, we all know you do.
But seeing Venus handle Belinda bench.
Oh my God! You know what? That was mine too.
That's a good one.
That was good stuff.
I'm sorry. It was like, okay, little girl, let me show you how to play tennis.
It was. It was like, oh my lord.
It
And you
was.
know what's crazy
It was.
is that Venus, Venus struggled against Monica Puig and Irina Falcone, who got nowhere near the talent as Belinda Bencic. And they struggled
You
against
saw
Belinda
that
Bencic.
game.
I was
It's
just like,
like
Belinda
it
girl.
was like you're playing. It's like when I'm playing. It's like when I'm playing Topspin 4, and I decide to use my created player against Serena Williams, and I just get my ass handed to me. I'm playing in hard mode,
No, it
but
looked
this
like
was just a lesson.
when an adult is playing with a child and the child is trying to
Yes,
get this. I'm just like, nope, not
yes.
gonna get it. Nope, not today, not today. My favorite
I
moment was that,
swear, Belinda looked basic.
which is crazy because she looked nothing but basic. All she looked so like a complete player. Like she looked like she was going to. Hopefully, this changes and she just doesn't meet Venus anymore. But you know, my favorite moments were
That was great.
actually I have. I'm gonna say three just to
Oh,
be it because
of
I'm
course
gonna
you do. Of
wait,
course
wait.
you
I'll
do.
tell you why. I'm going to do a media thing, and I'm going to combine two into one, and I'll tell you why. My first
Okay.
favorite moment was that I really enjoyed seeing Jeannie Bouchard playing tennis again. She was smiling. I enjoyed her in the doubles. She was
Yeah.
having a really good time with Elena Vesnina and Nick Kyrgios, and she listened to Elena, and then she was schooling Nick Kyrgios. She was keeping him calm. And I really enjoy that because tennis is supposed to be fun and joy and lovely. And I have to say shout out to Andreen for her prediction and her actually astute observation as to Jeannie Bouchard rising. Unfortunately, she slipped on some soap. I don't know what she slipped on, but she
Oh
slipped on
shit.
her hand. But you know what? Unfortunately, you
There are only a
know
few
what?
things that are slippery, so I don't know.
God.
Exactly. Go get your life together. My second favorite moment is actually two. I'm combining the Williams sisters as though they're one entity as per tennis media, but I'm just gonna say how fucking awesome it is to see Serena school Madison Keys, the student of Lindsay Davenport, and Venus Williams school Belinda Bencic, student of Martina Hingis, and they're all contemporaries. They're all contemporaries, people. As a matter of fact, I think Venus might be older than Lindsay Davenport. I might just be a year younger. And they're out there still slinging it on tour. I know people make different choices in your career, and they have different things that they want to do. Martina Hingis want to go beat up her spouses. Lindsay want to have children. Those are all fine and acceptable things to do.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
not shading. I'm
I'm
all
so
here.
glad I'm judgment proof.
I'm all here for feminism, okay? If a man beats a woman, shit, why don't a woman go beat her man too? Hey, we're all here for equality. But I just have to say, when people try to tell me and shade and say the Williams sisters, what I'm just saying, the Williams sisters are doing what they are known for. They're tennis players, and they still got on playing decent fucking great tennis. So, those are my favorite moments. I may have some other few in between. No, those are my favorite moments because I thought it was right ironic that that Lindsay Davenport and Martina Hingis had to have several seats while their charges was getting
Oh,
beat
my
and
favorite
beat
my
badly.
favorite moment for the men was seeing Donald Young whooping Victor Troitsky's ass. I actually watched that match. I fired up a stream and I watched that match and I cheered every step of the way until he beat Victor Troitsky.
Nice.
On the men's side, did I have one?
No, you did not.
I feel
Well, I
like
guess
you've had 20, but please keep going.
don't come for me, Don't come for me, Janina. No.
Oh my god!
I know where you live in foreign.
I just shared
I
a
will
lovely
have the
gift.
embassy tear up your foreign passport. I don't want them to leave your house, okay? I got that kind of. I know people who know people, okay? Just so you know.
Oh,
My
no.
favorite
Do
moment,
you
I
know people
think,
know people like James Blake knows people?
Oh shit.
I don't have those kind of friends.
James Blake has no friends right now.
He
I
has a
would
lot
tell
of
you my
friends.
favorite men's moment was I know, and this is probably just me being a hater, but I'm just gonna be a hater for spite. I'm gonna be a bona fide hater. because I know there's some people out there who may not listen to this podcast thinking I'm a Stan hater. And I know y'all are going to say that, Stan is the only person who beat Joker.
Oh
But
God, I've already seen
put,
that on my timeline.
we can
You
put that
should.
down.
Aren't they the same
We
age?
can put that down as a fluke because Federer has more than one win against Joker. But I gotta say, my favorite men's moment was Federer's school in Stanley.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was a. I just imagine is like when those that girl at the office try to come tell you that you did your job, and then you gotta say, "Bitch, have a seat." And this is how it is. And you bring out the tape measure, you bring out all the shit, you bring out all the equipment she don't know how to use, and then you be like, this is what you do? Tell me now, but do you know how to do this one? No, you don't know. So shut your mouth. So in the third set, Federer just like, no, Stanley, you don't say shit. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
This
And
is how we do it.
This is how it's done.
This is how we do it. What night was it? It's Wednesday night. And Rocket feeling alright.
My favorite moments, and I like it's my favorite moment because I want some of those Stanley lovers to start kind of get mad because I know they can get mad at me.
Back that thing
So
up.
thank you for listening. Anyway, thank you.
What you want to do? Back that thing up.
Oh, Lord.
Do I get to have a favorite moment?
Yeah, of course you do.
All right. What? She's trying to come for me here.
Don't be like
Go ahead. Go ahead.
like this baby gift I just sent you.
I know, right? Okay, so my favorite women's moment was the Venus and Serena match because it was so much more than I could have hoped for
Yeah.
on so many levels. I just loved it. It was amazing. My favorite moment for the men
Oh my God. It's something evil.
was all the New York love for Nole. You know what?
Bitter and biased.
I am bitter and biased. You Serbian devil. They just embraced you. They cheered everything the right way. Your ball goes into the net and the crowd just roars. Oh, man. You better fucking believe I was roaring right with them on my couch.
It's the first serve and they're like on their feet.
Oh,
You
man.
wonder to yourself, do the people know the rules of this sport?
You know what? It validated my hate.
Oh my God,
I'm not the only one.
your hate is so strong.
It is. It is. But I need everyone to understand that it is organic.
It's real. It's real.
It's gluten-free hate.
Yes, it is. It is organic and gluten-free.
That's real life. People probably don't like you.
That means it's
Hey.
old shit. It's old school
Djokovic,
shit.
better than a wheelchair.
Nobody knows what the hell gluten is.
Did y'all know this? Did y'all see this?
What?
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this situation per se, but
What, gluten-free hate?
No, Joker decided to go warm up with one of the wheelchair players.
Oh,
And was in a
God.
wheelchair
I
doing
saw
it.
it.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh, this is kind of awkward.
Who is representing him? Benito still?
Oh no, Benito stopped doing that. You know Benito's crazy. Benito's like, I can't represent Novak and Rafa at the same time.
I mean, seriously, dude?
You're right. We need to roll out of here.
On that note,
oh no. On that
No. It's gonna be pointed. I just want to say, Federer. I just have a point of order that your sloppy 4 out of 23 breakpoint conversion was fucking up Merker's hair, and I'm not here for that shit.
Merker's not here to have her hair.
Merker had her hand in her hair and messing that shit up. And
all this means is that Merker's gonna have a news press conference for us months from now to tell us she's giving Federer more
pregnant.
babies. So
Yep.
that's all we have to do.
Yeah, this time it'll be triplets.
was like, I had to do a lot
Anyway,
of work to get him out of the
folks,
good
I
mood.
just
So,
want to say thank you very much for enjoying us in our US Open coverage. I want to thank the fans on my timeline and the haters too. I know you
it
sound
was
like you're
fun.
shooting me. Don't give a fuck. Twitter just informed me I got 400 followers, and that to me is the bomb diggity.
You are nice. 400
Because
people putting up your hate, putting up with your
exactly, there are
hate.
400 real people who I can reach out and touch sometime. Anyway, and they follow me on what I guess with. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, the lovely ladies here as always. We have been through much struggle this past two
Oh,
weeks. We've seen
I
highs,
bet
we've
not.
seen lows, but you know what? Moving on to Asia, where we can, be easy breezy and beautiful. And
Mm.
look out for some fun podcasts coming up, because there's no real tennis. Let's just be 100 here. It's a whole bunch of major vulture tournaments.
Andrew,
Listen,
like
Big
big.
vulture
Andrew
tournaments.
Silent H is probably trying to win her first WTA title. So let's just,
Oh, let's.
yeah, oh,
She's gonna keep
No.
it classy though. She's gonna keep it
yeah, all
classy.
that money that her parents spent on
She's
her
gonna keep it
career.
classy.
Classy, yeah.
Yeah, she better keep it
Absolutely.
classy. And I see her taking pictures with some kids, so I guess that's
Oh,
supposed.
that's classy.
I
No.
Good
want to
for
be
you.
a role
Andrea
model.
Silent H.
Good for
I
you,
just gotta
girl.
let you know that
Good for you, Andrew Silent. Taking
Caroline Wozniacki and Simona Halep and Anna Ivanovic want to stay in the top ranking, so their ass will be vulturing those tournaments. Okay,
Fabulous. You
just
guys, you
so
go
you
for it,
know.
ladies. You
All
go.
right.
Anyway,
All right.
thank you people for listening. I hope you enjoy our podcast, and if you have any ideas and suggestions, especially technical ones, we would love to hear it. And
Peace
comment
out.
below, tweet us, whatever. Peace out. Have a good day
Tell
and
us
live well.
your favorite moments.
Yes,
I would
your
love to hear
favorite
it.
moments. Yes,
Love to hear your favorite
Ciao.
ciao,
moments.
bye.
Bye.